We are now in hour number 34 of 36 hours of the Tour of Love. And this is a very special hour, an hour that we are going to be taking a true tour of love. So let's get going with this.
This is a Tour of Love, an international event, 36 hours streaming live on the E360 TV platform, beaming the vibe of love around the world to audiences of all ages, all nations, with the intention of changing the way cancer is done. This is the CB4L Buddies Network, and we are healing through connections. So get on the bus, get ready, and let's welcome the Tour of Love.
I am beyond honored. I don't want to get weepy right now. However, I certainly could, because of the fact there are people that when you are at a place in your life that means something to you, and it might be because of a talent they have, it might be words that they penned, it might be songs that they sung, it might be that they came into your world in a frequency that made a difference to you. I just want to say thank you, because right now we need that more than ever, don't we?
Oh, well, yes. Yes, we really do. It is most important for how we view this unusual opportunity to see our surroundings, to use our stillness in as powerful a way as possible, and to not let this moment go by without really paying deep attention.
I love that. Paying deep attention.
Mm-hmm.
And 2020, the year of 2020, perfect eyesight. Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's funny because when, as of December 31st going into the new year, I had posted something about, it is year 2020, envision the life you want to have, or the year ahead you want to have. And I had no idea, none of us did, what would be ahead of us. Mm-hmm. And the intention that we would have to choose to figure out ways to get through this. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is the road. No matter what you're going through, that's always the issue. How are you going to reframe what you thought life was going to be, to make each day help you move forward, gain you wisdom, see what you can do in that moment? It's really interesting.
Absolutely, without a doubt, very interesting. And when you're with what you had just shared right now, I'm thinking of the fact that there are so many in our community, the people that have been affected by cancer, and I know mm-hmm. that you have in many mm-hmm. ways, and it brings a whole different light into what, if you will, the rest of the world is seeing 2020 is all about. Mm-hmm. And then now looking at the community that the Tour of Love is supporting, mm-hmm. and it's almost as though the rest of the world is trying to catch up with what we've been dealing with, and they're not liking it too very much.
Well, people don't like to be told that they're asleep. And when you realize that something forces you into awakening, mm-hmm. and something gives you an opportunity to not only wake up, but to stay awake. That's really the challenge in my experience, because you think that you're awake, but then something happens and you realize, damn, I fell asleep again.
I love it.
And then, the challenge is to stay awake, because I think that's where the power is, the power of noticing, the power of nuance, the power of seeing what is true for you at long last, seeing the power of realizing that you can no longer be talked out of your truth.
Wow. Now, is that this is that are the performers from the school that you support?
No, those are not the Citrus Singers. No, those are all professional colleagues of mine that that volunteered to sing on the choral piece that I composed, and I set a poetic little essay to music that I had discovered when I was 17 by an Indian writer by the name of Rabindranath Tagore. He was a Nobel Prize winner, and he was known as the Shakespeare of India. And when I first read his writings, he wrote essays and plays and poems and articles. And when I first read his writing, that particular piece, which is one of his most famous, I mean, again, I was 17 years old, and I found the language so rapturous.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And the thing about his spirit was so deep that when you read those words, they're either about God or a lover, but I'm not sure which. And over the decades, whenever I would read it, I could hear music, but I couldn't distill it. I would just hear these great waves of sound, and I just could not. And then about 4 years ago, I would look at the poem, once a year, twice a year, and I would always hear a lot of noise, a lot of beautiful noise, but I could not capture it. And about 4 years ago, I made my pot of coffee. I was in my pajamas. I opened the book that was on the piano, which is where it always was, and I heard it. I started to hear it.
Wow.
And I barely breathed, and I barely moved, because the thing is, when you start to hear, when the spirit speaks to you, it disappears as quickly as you hear it. So I very carefully went to the piano, and I didn't play anything. I just started to sing what I was hearing, because sometimes when you play, the melody moves around, and I didn't want anything to get in the way. And so I started to write it that day. It took me a couple of months, but I'd not really written soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, plus the piano parts. And my beautiful friend Peter Hume did the arrangement, and it was really thrilling to finally birth this piece. I'm actually working on a second one now, but it's like these giant puzzles where you have to find all the inner voicing, and the piece was written. The words were written about 100 years ago, and not about the United States. But it's so, in my heart, it so pertains to our nation and to the world. Mm-hmm. That urge to wake up and move forward and count everybody and bring everybody along for their highest good. That's what speaks to me. Yeah.
So because I know you're a songwriter, and so is this just the way that you typically have written songs before, but they've been more in your key and for you to be able to go out there, or have you had other people and it just comes?
Well, yeah, I mean, depending on who your collaborator is, and how they think, that's what's always interesting to me, is how people think. Because then I start to hear language, and I start to hear music and all of that. So, and if I'm writing for myself, then it's focused on what I've been up to lately and what can somebody else bring to what I'm trying to create. But when I'm writing for other people, it's what they're up to, and paying attention to that. But this was just something else.
Yeah, no, this is a passion piece. It really sounds like
a passion piece. Yeah.
Because I mean, something from when you were 17 years old. At 17, you're so impressionable. I don't know about you, but when I was 17, it was like, okay, yeah, very idealistic. Sometimes you may see a glimpse of what you really will be when you're older.
But when you're 17, things are still coming at you for the first time. And what I have learned from teaching is that when you're teaching 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, their minds are still so empty. No matter what they've been through, they're just large spaces.
Right.
And so your responsibility is to help them learn how to think about whatever it is they're interested in, but to actually help them to learn how to think. And what's interesting as an artist is that, what I know to be true, is that if you walk your journey long enough, you start to occupy your space more. You start to understand more. You start to earn that deep, hard-won wisdom that is really immovable. People can try to talk you out of it. People can try to say, well, that may be what you think, but this is really what it is. No, I know what I know.
And I could spin on this for a while, and it would be fun to. And yet, I want to keep going forward, because I am so excited about what you're doing with the projects right now.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah, I have this project that I am unfolding a song a month, because where are we going?
That's a good question.
And so I wanted to, it's time to re-record these songs that have grown with me. And the other thing is, like many of my colleagues, because we signed our record contracts in the 60s and 70s when there was no, when the revenue streams that exist today simply didn't exist then. And so the only way we can own our masters, which are the records, is to re-record them. And it gives us a little bit of power if anybody wants to license them or whatever.
And I have to say, I have been seeing the ones that you've been doing just recently, and I love the way that you're doing it. The feel from before, taking you back in time, and then bringing you into the present right now, and then the imagery in between and the flow.
Well, that's the thing. These songs were written a long time ago, and yet they have found their moment, which you don't. That's not how you write songs. You write, but it's remarkable and kind of mystical that these songs have found their moment. And this song that I saw a little preview of, Just You and I, was recorded a very long time ago. But in this moment, because I'm artist in residence at Citrus College, which is a lovely community college down in Glendora, I've used their young student singers and their pop band. And they're absolutely fierce. This is a song that I wrote with Carol Sager called Just You and I. And the video pays homage to the frontline workers.
I love it. Okay, let's.
When your heroes go up in a puff, there's not enough to hang on to, and the ones you would count on to call, they all fall down all around you. Then you've got to believe there's more. It is the reason we're put here for. There's just you and I. You and I. When the legend's over and we are just begun, we can look to each other to see us through. Just you and I. When a miracle's long overdue, and there's no one who's gonna come to guide you, so you keep looking up to the sky, wondering why the clouds won't hide you. At the times when you're most afraid, that is the reason why dreams are made. It's just you and I. You and I. When the legend's over and we have just begun, we can look to each other to see us through. Just you and I. will be just you, just you, just you, just you, just you and I.
Beautiful. I love that song and the images that you picked, and the fact that you were honoring our first responders and who you picked as first responders. I appreciate it because you added some that don't usually typically get the love that they deserve, especially right now. So thank you for that. It looks like it was fun.
It was fantastic. I mean, I wrote all of those vocal parts, and those kids were magnificently trained. And Citrus College is just, I've had a lovely, enduring relationship with them. And that is their studio. That's their teaching studio where we were recording. And it was just completely joyful. And those kids get credit because those are live performances. And so so they get actual credit for all of that stuff. And it was really beautiful. But yeah, I mean, towards the end of it, when I was showing all of the WPA projects from the 30s and the 40s, I wanted to bring back the past of the good that can happen when we pull together. And that's the thing.
Yes,
because
right.
We are just like ridiculous with our short-term memory. Our history is rich with good. I mean, I know that there's plenty of blemish, but there is massive good when we look at it and say, from the top down, from the top of government to the person on the street, we can do this. We can pull this together. We can share the vision.
I am a big believer, and Mikey will attest to this because I have a huge library all over my house, because and most of it's all history type books, because I believe that we can learn from our history, and that we can learn from the good, and we can learn from the mistakes, and why reinvent it? Why don't we just take the good? And that's what when I was looking at that, I'm thinking, oh, wow, what imagery, and the way that you did that. And so, and are you the creative director on that, or did you work with some of the students? Did they get to be involved with some of
the students are not involved in the video part of it. Paco Silva does the videography, and then we edited it together, and because I got 2 cents to put in.
Right, you're telling a story.
Right.
And you have it in. It sounds like it's much like you had the download of the song that you were talking about. That
right. Well, the thing is that when I wrote this song in the early 70s, the women's movement was still sort of new, and we were starting to own our political power, and all of that. And now it has grown into a wider, more expansive message. And everybody needs to be included. Everybody needs to sit at the table. Everybody needs to be welcomed. And forget about tolerance. I hate that word. We need mutual respect and move forward.
Yeah. I'm going to use the word love, though, too.
There you go. There you go.
It's a tour of love, and love is unconditional.
Right, because love in action is everything.
Yes. The next song, let's see what the next song is, because I do have a couple of questions, but I want to make sure we can make it through all the songs, because they're just fun.
of the morning, haven't we both got better things to do? Midnight blue, even the simple things become rough. Haven't we had enough? And I think we can make it one more time if we try. If we try one more time for all the old times, for all the times you told me you need me, needing you now is something I could use. Midnight blue, wouldn't you give your hand to a friend? Maybe it's not the end, and I think we can make it one more time if we try. If we try one more time for all the old times. Midnight blue. I think we can make it. I think we can make it. Oh, wouldn't you give your heart to a friend? Think of me as your friend, and I think we can make it one more time if we try. If we try one more time for all the old times, and I think we can make it, yes, one more time if we try. If we try one more time for all of the old times. One more time, one more time. I think we can make it if we try. I think we can make it if we try. Looks like we're gonna make it, yes. Looks like we're gonna make it. Midnight blue.
That is one of my very favorites. That
Oh,
one.
thank you.
Yeah, and I actually did see that one already, and that was when I saw all the images, and I'm thinking, okay, you start to it's like a music really like a time machine,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, where was I in that time, and
That's right.
and it really struck me because it really was a song that my mom and I used to really, it was really resident with my mom. And my mom passed away 5 years ago yesterday. And she's the reason, a lot of the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. And so it was like, oh my goodness, you know, it just was this beautiful moment. And I want to thank you for that. And now I really want, I would love to know, what's your favorite song?
Oh, I don't have a favorite. Songs are very much, you know, they come out of moments in your life. I have a tenderness for Midnight Blue because it was the first single, but you know, but I'm connected to most every song.
It's like kids, you know. What are you gonna?
Exactly.
You know.
That's exactly right. You know, you love them all equally and differently and uniquely.
Yeah, exactly. How many more of the songs are you going to be producing in that with this type of a
with the rollout? Yeah, we're going to be well, our plan was to do one a month, and we released Just You and I in September and Midnight Blue in October. We were going to release something in November, but unfortunately our videographer had a family emergency. So we're just, you know, we're just on the edge of December. So it will be out soon. But once all of those, and we had 8 songs in the can when COVID hit. So we were, you know, we were deep in the process of making an album, but there were 2 that we have not gotten to record. So I got to figure out how to record those 2. Plus there's a bonus track, which is already recorded. And so, you know, as long as nobody's in a rush, we're just doing this the way we see fit to do it. And I just love creating these videos in this time because I find that this is a unique opportunity to capture this moment so that if these things end up in a time capsule, and, you know, and 10 years from now, people are thinking, how did you get through the pandemic? Well, you know, this is a little glimpse into what it was like. So.
Because I want you to know, we have been talking with people and we've been collecting love letters. And some of them have been more told to me than necessarily written to me. When I started doing this, people were coming to me and telling me the stories of what you have meant to them.
Oh,
and the love they have for you. Because I want you to know that, because I do believe that there are so many people that they don't necessarily get the love back that you know you give it to all of us. I don't know if you hear from us much, any of us.
Well, you know, people post things on my website. I have a rather active Facebook presence, and I like that. I have sort of found a bit of a writer's voice through that platform, and all of it is new to me. You know, I learned so much about this crowdfunding and Facebook and all of that mostly through my students. Because
I love it.
Because the way things are now is normal for them. They have no frame of reference. And so when I was teaching for a while, I was adjunct professor at USC at the Thornton School. This teaching thing was not in my plan. You know, it would just turn out to be this remarkable adventure. I really got a chance to see how kids were doing music. And they are doing music in an entirely different way than the way I was doing music at their age. You know, there are very few record companies anymore. There are very few publishing companies, and but there's another marketplace, and that is their version of normal. And for me, it's as if they have rediscovered the wheel, but it's not quite round the way I understood round to be. So,
right.
You know, and so it's, but I love my fans. I'm grateful for people who are connected with my music.
And so now I know I've been told a little bit, but I don't know much of it. Now, we, of course, are raising funds and we are enrolling buddies. And so that people will be able to heal through connections while they're facing cancer.
That
And
is so fantastic. It's
you.
such a fantastic concept, and
Thank you.
it's magnificent that you are enacting that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
And it seems as though is it touching something personal for you? Have you noticed it? Have you seen others? Have you been through the journey with others that
I have been, yes, I have been through the journey with my dad. He had liver and pancreatic cancer, and unfortunately he did not survive it, but he had a fantastic life. He did what he loved to do. He was a musician. He was a bassoonist with the Metropolitan Opera, and he, his life was remarkable, and I must say his death was remarkable as well. There was a lot of joy in music and community, and my niece just survived a brief bout with breast cancer, and thank God she's doing fine. But my friend Nancy Colton, she's the daughter of my dearest friend Harriet, and she did not survive. But once she started doing the Revlon walks and engaging her family, and she would write these letters to let us know what she was up to. She was a sweet woman, had 3 sons, a loving husband, and fought a valiant fight. And I found her inspiring. She, as I said, she would write these letters about her impression of the walk, the sense of community, knowing that she was never alone. And it inspired me to write a song called "The Power of Ribbons," which struck me. The image of that little pink ribbon held together by a very tiny safety pin that has galvanized billions around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's extraordinary that little tiny thing could have so much power. And I appreciated when I was inspired that ribbons and power were in the same thought for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote the song as a walking song. I wrote it while I was walking on my treadmill, so I would have a good sense of the tempo of it. 3.2, by the way. And I believe it's 3.2. And that's the only song that I've had all of the royalties go to cancer research.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah,
so I sing it every year. I've been singing it for the last several years at the Big Citadel, that beautiful shopping space that my friend Steve Craig has constructed. It has the world's largest pink ribbon. It's in the Guinness Book of Records now. And they do a beautiful fashion show, and the women and the men get done up, and they have a runway, and people watch. And at the end of it, I'm always asked to sing "Power of Ribbons." So anyway, that is what I can do and what I have done. And so, I'm thrilled to be part of this, and I'm thrilled with the concept of buddies.
Thank you.
Because I really believe that the isolation of doing this by yourself creates its own kind of toxicity.
Right.
And you really need help to walk the walk and carry the load. I know from observation that sometimes you want to just be in a corner and hide for a while. But man, oh man, if you have a community, a village of even one other person who's saying, it's enough with the darkness, we're going into the light now. Come on. We're going into the light. We're going to walk in the light.
Make me of spring, spring reminds me of hope, hope reminds me that I'm not alone. We're connected by dreams, dreams connected to a vision that victory is all we know. Can you feel it now? It's so real. The power of rhythms, hold a million strong. The courage of women who won't wait any longer. This is the moment when a dream becomes the thing. There's power in ribbons, the color of pink. The color of pink. I'm reclaiming my joy, joy's reclaiming my life. Life begins with every step I take now. My spirit's flying, love is here, and I'll surrender and take this day to celebrate. Celebrate the power of rhythms, the whole million strong, the courage of women who won't wait any longer. This is the moment when a dream becomes the thing. There's power in ribbons, the color of pink. If we keep walking on, the winds of change will rise, and we won't stop until those blessings multiply. Oh, the power of ribbons will hold a million strong. The courage of women who won't wait any longer. This is the moment when the dream becomes a thing. There's power in ribbons, the color of pink. Oh, yeah, the power of ribbons, the whole million strong, the courage of women. Oh, who won't wait any longer. This is the moment. This is the moment. There's power in ribbons, the color of pink. The color of pink. The power of ribbons. The power of ribbons.
What a pleasure to meet you, Melissa. I know Tamara and Mikey. I've talked to them before and been on the show before, and it's an awesome experience just to be with
Thank
you.
you.
And I love your music. I do. You know, my heart just starts pounding, and the lyrics are so sweet, and the melody is so fine, and the tune and the heart. I mean, my heart starts, really pounding. So it's very, very beautiful. Thank you so much
Lovely.
for what you've done all these years. My God, what a wonderful lady you are. So, in view of all these things that we're talking about here, I just want to say that ultimately it all boils down to this idea of love, and it all boils down to the growth of individuals in their quality of love. And sickness can be healed through love, pain can be healed through love, difficulty can be healed through love. Any kind of dynamic has a flow through that starts in and ends in love. And bottom line is, we need currently, this massive revolution of values and education and love and beauty and and all these other things.
Yeah.
And that's what the world needs right now. And I'm glad that you're an ambassador for that. I'm glad we all are an ambassador for that. And, it makes life sweet.
It does.
It really does make
Absolutely,
life sweet.
it does.
Yeah.
And the opposite of love, as I have learned, is fear.
Mm-hmm.
And apathy. Apathy is as much an opposite of love as fear is, because people who don't do anything or can't do anything, find themselves, falling into depressions and holes.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So, so love is a process. Love is a activity that is, it's immeasurable, immutable, undefinable, and in most profound and wonderful ways. It's the totality. And I love a line from a movie that I heard once. And the line from the movie goes, "Love is the why behind everything." Pain, difficulty, sorrow, everything. It comprises everything, including joy and action and all the great things that we all with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a big joy addict.
Oh, good job.
I'm a large joy addict. What I've learned is that joy is not the same as happiness in my experience. Happiness, if you win the lottery, so you're happy. Joy is that spiritual component that nobody can take from you, and that's what I'm always hungry for.
Joy is the basic, really, it is the positive energy of all great things.
Yes.
I love that.
It is. Yeah. What I was talking about this the other day. One of the most powerful symbols for me, metaphors for me, is when I'm walking down a street and I see a blade of grass coming through concrete, I get stopped in my tracks.
Okay.
That kind of power is thunderous for me.
It's like a flower in the desert,
Yeah, you see something growing through a crack in a rock, and you think, "Okay, wow, I don't know anything."
Yeah, anything is possible.
That's right.
As we close this, we have a few moments left. I would love to be able to say thank you, number one. And as you think of the tour of love and us going out there and changing the world through love and buddies, what would you like to be able to say to, if you will, my community and to the world about what it is that we are doing?
Well, I know from experience the power of community, and community could be just one person showing up for you, helping you to reframe the craziness in your mind. The power of community is a life raft that you can crawl into and safely float and navigate waters. And so, if I had a hat, I would take it off in salute to you for the concept of for the concept of buddies and creating community for people who need as much light thrown at them as possible. So well done, you.
Thank you. I'm taking the moment in it. Thank you. Thanking you. Thanking you, Mikey. Thanking you, Harrison. Thank you for being here. And thanking all of you and reminding all of you we have 2 hours left. And in that time, we're going to be talking about what it is that we're doing, why we're doing it, and how you can help us to change the world through one word, love. And then taking that love and healing through connections within the Buddies Network everywhere in the world. Because no one deserves to feel isolated and alone. And like our dear friend Melissa Manchester just said, this takes one more to be there with you. 2 buddies can change an outcome, and 2 buddies can change the world. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks so much. Be well, everybody.
I believe in what you're doing. Full engagement, baby.
Bye-bye.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Chemo Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a Chemo Buddy for life.
We are a Buddies Network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are Chemo Buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Hello, my name is Tamara Hunter, and I want to welcome you to Chemo Buddies for Life. We believe in healing through connections, and in fact, we believe it so much. I am out here in nature right now, connecting, because we also believe in healing through nature. You will be taking a journey with us, like this river here. And in this journey, you're going to be connecting not only with other buddies, you'll be connecting with yourself. We have the celebration journal, and we are going to make sure that you have one of your own. You will have an opportunity with our community to connect with yourself. Also, within the journey that you're going to be taking with us, you'll have an opportunity to create your own profile. In it, you'll be either announcing that you have heard 3 words, our community has heard, you have cancer, either for yourself or for someone that you love. I'm holding these purple flowers because, you know, purple represents many things in nature. First of all, it's beautiful. It represents a higher frequency. And Chemo Buddies for Life, year 2020, we declared it to be the year of love. We believe in the frequency of love. We also know that purple is the universal cancer color. So when you declare on your profile what cancer you've been associated with, you can either decide to tell us which one or go with the purple, universal. Also, you know, as I'm standing here looking at this beautiful view, it makes me think of the fact that we are community. We are building a worldwide community. And it's like this river that I'm staring down at. You know, when you think of a river, it comes from a variety of different areas. There may be snow that's melted. There may be different creeks that have come together. And then it goes on its journey just like down this way. It has a fork in the road, a fork in the river. So does our website. Our website, as you get to know it, as you get to know the community, you're going to find that you can have a buddy of your own, or you can fork in the road and you can decide to go off into the community, of which we have so many things to offer for you. So the bottom line is this, is get to be a part of like this community river, like the river that's come together from all different areas. We are bringing people from the United States, from Canada, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, from all areas of the world. We are a global family, and we welcome you. So, Come and join us. Be a part of the community. Get involved. We're going to help you through every single step of the way. I am glad that you have found us. So now, let us get you to be a part of our community. We are healing through connections. We are healing through buddies. Welcome.